Effective change management means transformational leadership, which is something called second-order change and relates to the values of the organization. And this, an example of this would be Ignaz Semmelweis. I did some Wikipedia research. I have no medical background, so I had to research a bit. You know who Semmelweis is? He was the inventor of hygiene. And the story is that women were dying at an extraordinary rate when they had babies in hospitals, but they died at a much greater rate when the doctors delivered the babies than when the midwives delivered the babies. And one day he discovered that and they got sepsis. And what they discovered was a student who was in the autopsy room had a cut and died the same way the women were dying. And the problem was that the doctors were going from the autopsy directly to maternity, delivering babies, and the bacteria were being transferred to the mothers, and they were dying. So Semmelweis, who ran the hospital in Vienna, forbade the doctors to go directly from the autopsy to maternity and forced them to wash their hands, which they did not very gladly, because the implication was that they would be responsible, or they were responsible, for the high death rate. In fact, they were. And the death rate among the doctor-delivered babies went down dramatically. Was Semmelweis celebrated as a hero? No. Nobody else followed his example, and he ended up in a psychiatric ward, a broken man, because he lost his reputation. That is transformational change. It is a shift in the paradigms according to which we act, and it is an attack on the deepest beliefs that we often have. Transformational change means changing people's beliefs and values, ultimately, changing their self-understanding, not in a moral sense, but in a functional sense, as opposed to transactional leadership, which is what all managers, if they've been trained, have been trained in, which is the implementation and the improvement of existing structures and processes, not to question and, if necessary, change values, paradigms, and behavior patterns. That's best practice. You optimize within an existing paradigm. Next practice is you change the paradigm. The question is, how many managers have been trained in changing beliefs, values, and habits of people? Deep down, that is not part of MBA training.